What is up, guys? Zan from the Zan Madden YouTube channel. In today's video, we're going to talk about the mid in elite and why it is an important ability for attacking the man coverage meta. But before we get into the video, please do me a favor, hit that subscribe button. Also, make sure you guys take the time to hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of the uploads coming your way here on the Zan Madden YouTube channel. If you guys want to take your game to the next level of Madden 21, check out my strategy site, gridirongameplans.gg. Gridiron Game Plans is your one-stop source for all things competitive Madden. Every week in our Vault update, we take a look at the meta, or the most effective tactics available being used by pro players on the MCS circuit, breaking down not only how and why the pros do what they do, but most importantly, how you can counter those metas when you face them in online head-to-head gameplay. On top of that, your subscription also includes any and every offensive and defensive game plan released on the website while your subscription is active. So head over to gridirongameplans.gg, $9.95 per month unlocks the entire website, and you can opt out at any time. Okay, guys, without further ado, let's get into today's video. We're going to be talking about the mid in elite. This is an ability that I truly believe is something you need to consider in your offense. And the reason that I believe that is that when you think about the man coverage meta, you're talking about a meta in which players are playing multiple one-step ahead abilities. These are going to be abilities that jump cuts on routes, whether it's a post, a corner, a crosser, a skinny post, whatever type of route you're running, they're going to jump those routes. Now, on top of that, the rumor is right now out there in the community that route technician is actually canceled by the one step, meaning that if you have a one step ahead player on defense and they're manned up on one of your route technicians, that it basically cancels out the route tech, rendering it useless, which again is, to me, that's baffling. That's extremely overpowered if that really is the case. I'm going to be taking a look at that in more detail and I'll report back in a future video, but that is the rumor right now. So we're kind of turning to look for alternative ways to make moving the ball in the one step ahead meta easier. The players are only getting faster. The man coverage ratings are only getting higher. It's going to get tougher and tougher, even though the receivers are also getting faster and getting better at route running. Again, because that ability one step ahead is so powerful. Now, on top of that, you also include the fact that players like to play purple zones out there on the field. And this is going to be something that players do routinely to set their depths basically to give or take 20, 25 yards on the sideline to take away outside throws. So this makes life very, very difficult. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk to you about this mid in elite. The mid in elite is a catch in traffic ability, if you will. And we're going to use it to try to take advantage of the one step ahead acrobat type of meta. So a player like Stephon Gilmore and Regs would be a perfect player to attack. So what we're going to be doing here is I'm going to show you, obviously the main meta is something like this, right? You're going to have these purple zones set to 25 yards. You're going to mix in blitzing heavily out of a Mike Zero blitz and like a 3-3-5 wide, or mid blitz out of 2-4-5 double A gap. You have those outside linebackers set to 25 yards on the sideline. And then what players do is they lurk in the middle of the field with their user. This player basically takes away the crossers, the posts, the slants, the Texas routes, the skinny posts, anything down the seam, right? So what you really have to do is win in the middle of the field where the user is. And that is very, very tough, not only just to avoid the user, but also to get the catch in traffic over the middle where all of these players are. I mean, you take a look at the way these formations are set up. Everyone's in the box, obviously. So it's a zero blitz type of defense. You got these safeties, and you know, you need to be able to catch balls that, you know, are thrown that are somewhat open. So these in traffic abilities like the mid in elite basically are going to help you in that cause. So what I'm going to go ahead and do here is I'm going to kind of break down a grid. And this grid is a grid that I use for the knockout abilities when I teach on gridiron game plans. But if I go ahead and I put this on the field, you can see here that it's a little bit askew here because we're on one hash. But if I go ahead and move this grid over just a little bit, you'll see that it, you know, it can match up. Let me go ahead and just move it like that. Kind of resembles where the knockout abilities are, if you will. And what you're going to see here is basically the mid in elite is going to refer to the yellow area of the field that is not outside the numbers. So we're talking roughly on top of that as well, 10 to 20 yards downfield in that yellow zone. So the near 10 yards, basically from the 50 to the 40, doesn't even count. It's basically right where the big white mid-zone font is in mid-zone KO. That strip of yellow 10 yards is where you're going to get your catch and traffic boosts off of the mid in elite. So it has to be 10 to 20 yards and inside the numbers. Well, basically what that means is if you can get body positioning, you're going to get an increased catch and traffic odds on your route. So scheming your routes together, obviously I don't have a Texas route or anything like that. What you might do is just give your opponent a route that they have to worry about. Maybe it's a tight end post. Maybe it's, pretend that this running back route is a Texas route, something out of the backfield to the running back just to pull them away, right? Just enough where you can get time to make a throw. So what you're going to end up being able to do is on a player like Nuke Hopkins, you could put him on a hitch or a curl route. And you see that the curl route by default goes 11 yards. This is right in the mid in elite territory, which allows you, especially over the shade over the top meta, to get these catches in traffic very consistently, even if they have an acrobat diving from behind them. And I'll work Stephon Gilmore into the slot here shortly, but you're going to see how this is going to be an ability that lights up. You see right there how he lights up on that catch. This is something that you're doing for insurance. Now, you're probably asking, what is the cost of the mid in elite? I believe on a route running archetype, this is a 1 AP cost to get those catches in traffic 10 to 20 yards over the middle of the field, where you're going to need to be able to attack efficiently to beat this one step ahead with purple zone meta. It's not enough to just rely on, S posts and steep corner routes to beat the one step ahead, because that is truly random. It really is truly random. There are players that do it better than others, but it's not consistent. It's just not something that happens all the time. So getting these catch and traffic boosts over the middle is really important. Now, if you wanted, you could use the short in elite as well. And again, if we pull that grid up, it's going to be basically the 10-yard strip. If I pull this camera back here, let me do that real quick. It's going to be that 10-yard strip where the KO is. So basically from, the inside the numbers, that 10 yards where the KO strip is, not where the mid zone strip is. That's where the short in elite would work. So if you want to do like little baby hitches and things like that, that would apply in that area of the field. So again, here, as we kind of take a look at this, obviously Nuke Hopkins is an elite level route runner. I'm going to put Stephon Gilmore in on him here shortly. But this is something that you're going to be able to routinely throw. And the great thing about this ability is you can honestly be late on curl routes and hitches with this ability because it is a catch and traffic ability. So it's not a situation where you have to time it perfectly. You can actually just throw it right there, and you could probably even conservative catch it. That's the beauty of it, right? Is a lot of times players are so used to having to aggressive catch every single route that they throw as a curl, because you want to attack the football. You don't want to have that guy draped all over you, causing those drops when you conservative catch it. Well, this is going to allow you to do a little bit more of the conservative catching, so you don't, necessarily have to come back and attack that ball. Another thing you could do to prevent the receiver from coming back to the ball so far is throw an up pass lead and low ball it. This will basically throw the ball into his body, causing him to not come back and attack it, 3 or 4 yards backwards. The key here is you want to pick up a first down with this type of throw, just a little cheapy hitch route in the middle of the field if they're not paying attention. And of course, you don't have to do it necessarily out of a compression style formation either. You could do this out of spread in between the numbers as well. So you see right here, I could throw, like a little low ball and hold A, and you're going to catch those balls in traffic. So now we're going to go ahead and show you how this works against the one step ahead. Obviously, with this meta, being able to attack in the middle of the field and consistently hold on to the ball is really, really important. So, you're going to want to be able to set up your route combinations. Maybe you have a tight end post if you're in the Seattle book. Get your action over to the weak side of the formation, which allows you to maybe throw that hitch right there on this spot. So, with a play like clear out, for instance, which we've broken down on the YouTube channel before, we know that this play has one of the better press animations in the game. So if they're shading underneath, you might get a situation where that outside B receiver gets a good beat press animation. Now, Larry Fitzgerald's a little bit slower, but this video is more about Hopkins. But you see here, like if they press, that's an opportunity for you to just kind of throw that ball out there over the top with that beat press. Now, again, Larry is slow as sin, so ignore the fact that McCourty was able to keep up. It was the beat press animation we're talking about. But because of that, you're going to get more players than not that are going to play a shade up approach, right? So they're not gonna risk those beat press animations. So now it's up to you to just make sure that the user is bailing appropriately. So maybe you set up a clear out play that gets their attention over to maybe the left. So maybe this user now is kind of lurking over in this direction, which is gonna help isolate that backside route. Maybe it's a curl route, for instance. And then now what you're gonna be able to do is kind of throw this little low ball up and possession catch it. And you see that he lights up through the contact to allow you to make certain that you're getting what you're paying for with that ability, showing you that he caught the ball in traffic due to the mid in elite. So, again, your route combinations are still going to be very important. You don't want to just give them the easiest lurk in the world by not pulling their user away, but you want to put yourself in a position where, you're going to be able to consistently catch the football over the middle in between the numbers from 10 to 20 yards. Again, you definitely tell here how easy this is. You saw right there, the one step ahead lights up, but he's not going to be able to make that play. Obviously, another thing that you could do, maybe your opponents are playing a hard flat style coverage, right? And they're still shading over the top. The play flood is a very, very good play. This is a play that a lot of players love to run. And the reason they run it is you get this low ball right on the cut of this route. Well, that low ball is in between the numbers, and it's perfect spot for that ability to light up. So again, if you're making that possession throw right on the outcut of the play flood, like so many players online tend to do, that's a really important ability. Now, obviously, be careful with those 25-yard purples. They can kind of throw a wrench into the situation because they drop at a very particular angle, which is more into the seam before they break to the outside. So you see right here that if you're making this throw, you really need to make sure it develops. But you see that it still lights up in traffic against that particular defense. So as you can see, there's a million different ways you can actually use this. You can use this on, standard curls. You could use this on outbreaking routes as long as you throw them before they reach the outside of the numbers. Another way that you can use this is by attacking over the middle as well, as per the name of the ability. Now, the key here is to pay attention to how your opponents tend to play. So what I'm going to do is call strong flood. This is a pretty solid play in general. And again, what most players are going to do is they're going to press their coverage and then they're going to shade over the top. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull my camera back. I want you guys to pay attention to this. They shade over the top, which there's no visual cue to anything, but then they're going to shade outside by hitting Y and then right stick right. I want you to watch the corners. Notice how they adjust, all three of them. You see how all three of them took a step to the outside. Now, if your opponent is doing those adjustments at the line of scrimmage, you're going to be able to pick up on those visual cues. That's telling you, okay, maybe I probably shouldn't throw, a low ball out route on this example. Maybe I want to attack with more of like a 10-yard in route on this. So you see right here, we run the in route, we smart route it. There's a reason that route is smart routed to 11 yards instead of 10. Now he's going to be active with this ability over the middle. So what you can do now is take advantage of the fact that, again, so many players are going to be playing this outshade purple zone meta over the top for a free release. And now you can go ahead and attack. Obviously you want to make sure that you're pulling their user a certain direction, obviously. So mimicking a flood or multiple routes to the left to just kind of pull this user out of center field. So again, the user kind of lurking over here in this area. And what you're going to be able to do now is use that leverage to your advantage because he's going to be able to light up over the middle and catch those balls over the middle. Now, it obviously is a little bit tough when DBs start to become like 99 speed as they are in MUT. But paying attention to these little tells in the defense where they shade up, shade out, you see the guy realign, you saw Gilmore jump there. That's going to be crucial to your success of knowing whether or not you should throw a low ball out or maybe throw something over the middle. So again, here, I'll show that exact same rep. You're just going to let him run this route because the outshade, that's going to allow you to throw this ball consistently over the middle, holding onto the ball for that sliding possession catch. Again, the user is going to have to make the play on that. Again, now you could motion routes across the formation. Let's say that they are, for instance, playing this exact defense that we just showed you and have been running throughout the whole video, pressing, shading over the top. They shade outside. You see the guys miss a line, right? Okay, that's an outside shade. Well, I've got this outside breaking route that's really nice. It breaks at 15 yards. Well, unfortunately, I'm probably not going to be able to throw that for two reasons. One, he's pretty close to the numbers already from his split. And two, they're shading outside as is. So what if instead I decided to go ahead and motion him across? Now he's running an in route. That's still an outside shade. I'm still going to be able to make this throw over the middle. You see right here, this is going to be a spot where he's going to be able to get those diving catches over the middle. So again, as long as it's within that area of the field, that 10 to 20 yards inside the numbers, that is the strip on the field where you're going to be able to dominate with this ability. Now, again, it's really important because the user doesn't want to go to the sideline. They've got these zones that are basically set it and forget it zones to the outside on the sideline. They want to take away those outbreaking routes. They even want to shade and shade outside, shade over the top, shade outside, so they can't get beat vertically. They can't get beat to the outside. They want you to have to attack the middle. Well, if you're going to attack the middle, you need catch and traffic abilities against the user, and that is why we are where we are today. So please take this advice. This is something that a lot of players are going to be hesitant to spend AP on this ability. I think it is far and away one of the most important abilities you will use going forward. I mean, we're getting close to in-game, getting very, very close to in-game level stats on these cards. And you're going to have to be able to catch the ball in traffic. The man coverage, I really thought there for a little bit that once the cards were all 99 speed, the receivers would tend to win out. And it doesn't really appear like that's going to be the case. So you guys have to be careful with this ability, or have to use this ability and be careful with the decisions you're making. And there's not that much room for error. So using this ability for 1 AP, again, I would highly recommend it. If the route technician is not going to work, you're wasting the AP on that player anytime there's a one step ahead on him. So at least spend, you know, instead of 2 AP on a route tech, maybe spend 1 AP on a mid-in elite, or maybe you spend 2 AP, maybe you run a mid-in and a mid-out. So that way you can just attack the intermediate level of the defense depending on how they shade, inside or outside. So that is today's video, guys. If you guys liked it, please give it a thumbs up. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, or complaints, drop those below. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Hopefully I'll see you guys over on gridirongameplans.gg. If not, I'll see you guys here with our next video upload. Until then, this is Zan. Get in the lab and good luck.